Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. Well, the Philadelphia Flyers lose, and this is exactly why, after they won in overtime last night against the Bruins, I said that I am emotionless. Because why would one game where they only got 1 point when they desperately needed two, why would I feel like things are going to magically change? I have seen a bad team majority of the season. Now, the ironic thing is, I didn't think they played necessarily bad. There were some tougher moments, but that second period, I truly thought that that was the best version of hockey throughout certain spurts that I've seen all season long. Any portion of this season, I thought that the second period, I saw flashes of the best, most consistent, most impressive hockey that I saw. Actually dominating in the corners, winning all your battles, getting great puck movement. That play from Jake Voracek over to Shane Gostisbehere, that was insane. Travis Konechny getting the puck off of a turnover. What we are so used to seeing happen to the Flyers actually just happened the other way around. It happened to the Bruins, and Travis Konechny takes the puck off of a turnover and threads the needle perfectly to Jake Voracek, right back door, right in front of the doorstep there, right in front of the blue paint. It was crazy. They dominated. Domination is not even the word to describe how they were played. They were buzzing up and down the ice in that second period. 25 shots. The problem is they responded to that period with just a disgusting third. Very limited shots. I think the total number of shots I saw by the end of it was 4. I know at one point I saw Sam Carchidi tweet, who covers the Flyers for the Philadelphia Inquirer. He tweeted 2. Not saying for the full thing, but at one point I'm saying when you're watching that third period and you're questioning, are they going to get any scoring chances? Are they going to get any shots on net? And they get 2 throughout such a decent portion of the third, you know that, well, they're getting back to themselves. They're getting back to reality a bit. And after the game, Keith Jones was speaking on the post-game show with Jim Jackson, Taryn Hatcher, and Scott Hartnell, and he said that he spoke to the goalie. By the way, and it's funny because when they first started this 2-game set with the Bruins, we found out the news that Halak was not going to be available. So here's a must-win 2-game series against the Bruins where you're going up in a back-to-back spot against netminders that are not established whatsoever in this league. It's just fitting for your playoff hopes to die from guys that nobody have a clue anything about them. You should be able to exploit the fact that they are not real NHL prime goalies. They're not Halak. They're not Tuukka Rask. That doesn't mean they're stiffs. That doesn't mean they're bums. But when you are fighting for your life and you realize it is mandatory to win or you are essentially screwed. They fell to 6th place. Technically right now, they are sitting in 6th place and the Rangers are above them. Let that sink in. That's everything you need to know. So knowing that would be the case if you weren't able to win, when they have goalies in net the way that they did, you should be able to win. But it's only fitting for them to fall the way that they did, with this being the circumstances. So Keith Jones was able to talk, and what was discussed was Patrice Bergeron in the locker room after the second period, after the Flyers logged in 25 shots. He set the tone, and they looked like a completely different team, and it just shows you what Patrice Bergeron does. I mean, he's a special player. Not only that, he's a special leader, and he is that guy for a reason. And it's weird because for him to be who he has been for so many damn years, he wasn't the C. And he wasn't the C because Zdeno Chara was there, who was maybe even better, which is crazy to say because Bergeron's already so damn solid at it. Now he gets an opportunity with the C on his chest. Not that I think anyone would look at him differently, saying things with the A compared to the C. Their leadership group has been phenomenal for so damn long. That's why they have always had sustained success, and they have been heading in the right direction forever, it seems, because of Chara, because of Patrice Bergeron, because of talent, too, and great coaching. That matters most. It's just the added bonus for all you Claude Giroux fools out there. You need the proper roster built the right way. They don't give out those hefty contracts. They have everything internally set the right way where they can get extreme talent and they can find ways to pay guys. If you're going to ask for more money and you think you're going to be one of those Mitch Marners or those Austin Matthews, yeah, go kick rocks, dude. You're not staying in Boston. You're not going to be there for a long period of time. So the structure involved with their franchise is monstrous too. It's not just the captaincy and the guy speaking in the room. That clearly, though, was a game changer for the way that they turned out in that third period. So there were moments I loved and moments that I really did not like. So with that first period, I hated Marchand's first goal because Bergeron, who scored a hat trick, by the way, yeah, not only was he sending a message, he also walked the walk as well. The last goal was an empty net, but they don't ask how, they ask how many. The answer is 3, and the hat trick is a real thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't say empty net on there, so it doesn't count. It says empty net on there, and it does count. So he got the hat trick. But for his first goal of the game, Marchand makes a really nice move at the top of the blue line. Justin Braun out there, and of course, when you twist and turn and stop and start the way Marchand can, you're realistically not going to be able to hold your own against him. And he throws a puck on net, which finds its way to Patrice Bergeron, who's wide open in front of the net. Provorov tries to slide over late, but the damage has already been done. Carter Hart is left out to dry. So how can you possibly allow, you know what guys are going to score. You know what players are going to produce. Now they're trying to get more scoring, so it's not like you have the 3 elite weapons all out there at the same time. But how do you let Patrice Bergeron slip right by you? Out of anyone in this damn universe, Patrice Bergeron is someone that should have eyes set on him and glued on him nonstop every second he's on the ice. So that pisses me off that you allow that hiccup to happen. Lawton, there was some open ice involved in this first period. Lawton gets a breakaway. The Bruins pursue the other way after he doesn't score. Sanheim gets a nice look at the net. He wasn't able to score. And Aube-Kubel takes a penalty. How many times, and it was a dumb penalty too. It wasn't one of those ones that you can live with because you're working hard. No, stupid, lazy, stick work, hooking. What are you doing, dude? Let's try and move your feet a little more. Let's try and be smart. Once you start taking stick penalties and getting wrapped up into the midsection, you're just getting outworked and you're getting outcompeted. Why don't you battle a little bit harder? I hate the version of Aube-Kubel that you have gotten this year. That's just me being honest. I've seen better play out of Aube-Kubel. He has not been consistent enough for my liking. But Scott Lawton had a breakaway on that penalty kill. You got to cash in. You got to maximize your chances. You are going to have very limited grade A. When you get a grade A, you get a breakaway. You just had one moments before. You get another one. Bury. He couldn't. Scott Lawton had 6,000 chances. I'm not going to praise the fact that he had that many chances. I'm going to be disgusted that he didn't bury, because that's the difference in this game. It's not about work ethic anymore. It's not about, well, they battled hard or they had a good second period. It's not about that anymore. You got to win. You have to win or you're not going to be relevant at all. That's the problem. And seconds after he missed, what do you know? Guess who's wide open in the slot on the power play on the other side? You can't give the Bruins a man advantage. Let me be clear. You cannot give the Bruins a man advantage. There will be damage, and the damage will hurt. Bergeron gets his second of the night. So I mentioned that 2-goal sequence in the second period of the guys just really working. I mean, the way that they were battling in the corners, the way that they were cycling the puck, the way that they were passing the puck from side to side and east and west and moving the goalie, getting them going post to post. You saw a Flyers hockey team where I said to myself maybe 10,000 times, if only they played this way forever. If that was the Flyers hockey that you got this year, Stanley Cup. That's how strong they looked. You got to give them credit. For that 15 minutes or so, the whole second, I'll give them the whole second, the 20 minutes, it was on another level of unreal hockey. To expect them to be that forever is unfair because it just can't be justified. You've seen sloppiness 99% of the time this year. So I know that wasn't real. I didn't change my expectations, but it is crazy to see that it's in there. I saw this team fighting. Justin Braun and Brad Marchand got wrapped up in front of the net in front of Brian Elliott. And here comes Sean Couturier out of nowhere, giving Mother F's, cross-checking, punching him in the face. I haven't seen anybody step up for anyone other than Sam Moran as of late because he's fighting for his damn NHL life. But how many times have we seen Carter, or did I say Brian Elliott? Excuse me, I meant Carter Hart. But when we saw Carter Hart get knocked around a few times before, we asked, where is anyone stepping up? When Claude Giroux gets hit knee to knee and he's down on the ice, how come nobody's stepping up? It takes Nolan Patrick to give a couple shoves? Hell no. You got to be able to respond instantly. Sean Couturier to step up for Justin Braun and going after a pest like Brad Marchand. You would think, like, hey, there's something to that. There's actually battle. There's actually feistiness. It was a high-energy game where it had that playoff vibe to it, where these two guys and these two teams really despised one another. It was really nice and entertaining to see. But unfortunately, the third period, you had Scott Laughton on another chance. You had Travis Konechny on a late power play. By the way, they had power plays. Yes, they did. And if you had to take a wild guess on what happened during those power plays, I'll give it to you. They didn't score. They didn't, and they needed to. They had to establish some sort of statement. They could not do it. They had plenty of times. 5-on-4, move the puck around. Joel Farabee did have a really nice tip. I think Claude Giroux shot it from the outside. Not outside the dots, but maybe top of the circle-ish. And Joel Farabee had a nice tip in front. Couldn't score there, but it was a really good redirection. That was earlier in the game. They did have some power plays later on. Third period, they had one. Travis Konechny, I'm telling you, a wide open net. I could have buried that one. And this is coming from someone who doesn't score many goals and has missed plenty of wide open nets. I would have been able to put it right in the twine. I probably wouldn't even put it on the twine. It would have hit the bottom of the net, and I would have been totally okay with that. Once again, they don't ask how, they ask how many. It goes over Travis Konechny's stick, a 2-on-1 for a short-handed goal, and Brad Marchand scores 5-hole on Carter Hart. He opened up his 5-hole, he executed it perfectly, and the damage was done from there. That was the killer. That was, when you watch basketball and you see that shot, the dagger, where there's 20 seconds left, it's a 3-point game, and you hit that dagger 3 to go up 6, and the other team recognizes, we're screwed here. That's exactly what happened in that moment when Brad Marchand ended up scoring on that breakaway. It's frustrating because the story of the game for me, when you watched it, was this. Scott Laughton, breakaway. 5 seconds later, Bergeron scores. Travis Konechny could have scored, could have took the lead, power play goal. Seconds later, short-handed 2-on-1, Bruins take the lead. So one team is maximizing when they're able to move down the ice and when they're able to light the lamp. The other team, not so much. And that is what irritates me the most. You're going to be limited. You're not going to have 80 chances. You might have 4. Well, guess what? 4 is a lot, and you better at least get some of them. And, you know, those 4 that they needed to bear down, they didn't. They didn't, and it's killing me inside. And that's pretty much a defining game, though. They don't deserve to be any better than 6th place. This is who they are. You see Kevin Hayes at top. Wait, no, you don't. I mean, I'm questioning what is going on with Kevin Hayes. Where is he skating? What is he doing in the defensive zone? Where is his coverage? Where is he offensively? What is this version of Kevin Hayes? And I've stated this before. I think it relates perfectly to the feeling we had when Kevin Hayes was signed. Last year, he played way higher than his expectations were. He was able to score on the penalty kill. He was a great guy on the PK. Now I think you're seeing more of a product of who he is. This is more of why we reacted the way that we did when we saw the heavier contract, when we saw the big ticket with his name tied to it, when we saw Chuck Fletcher go in that direction. We were a little concerned on, okay, we like Kevin Hayes, and when you think of the center depth, you think of being able to have a lot of guys up the middle. That's your most prized possession. That's part of your key to success as a franchise, having a lot of depth up the middle, but there was a little bit of an overpay. There was a little bit of an overreach, and maybe you're starting to see that now. Not that it was anything crazy. Free agency's all about overpaying, right? So if you have a guy for $7 million, but he's really a $6 million guy, or a 5.5, 5.8, $6 million guy, or 5.75, or whatever it is, but you pay him $7. That's what you do to get players in free agency when there is a bidding war. That's the nature of the beast. That's why people say going to free agency, be aware. You're going to spend an extra couple bucks. Or maybe another year, an extra year. It might cost you an extra year to make sure you get a player for the prime years, and then on the back end, you might be struggling a bit, but that's the price you pay to go get a guy that you think will be beneficial for a handful of years prior to that time coming up during the older ages. And I'm not applying that specifically to Kevin Hayes because he's still young enough in his career. I'm just talking about how free agency normally goes as a whole. So it just sucks, man. It really does suck. And I want to go on over to the Anytime Hotline right now to hear from your reactions to this game.
Fuck these NHL refs and their stupid fucking fucking goddamn penalty calling. This imbalanced penalty calling bullshit is so fucking annoying. Watching Sam Morin get called for roughing really pissed me off. The power play coach needs to be fucking fired. I can't fucking watch this stupid fucking team anymore with this shit. The fact that they lost due to a fucking shorthanded goal that was that fucking pathetic. Like, come on. This is fucking bullshit. This Flyers team is seriously fucking pissing me off. How do you shoot 25 pucks on net and only get 3 in the third? Fuck this team.
It's a good call. That's a good call. It really is. So there's a lot to dissect there. About the refereeing and all in the beginning about Sam Morin roughing, at the end of the day, are there things that you can say, I didn't love this, I didn't love that? Sure. Did the Flyers have plenty on their plate? Yes, they did. They had 2 later power plays that I can remember where they could have put the game away or they could have at least taken the lead. And if they would have allowed that shorthanded goal anyway, well, then it would have been a tied game instead or whatever. They could have tied up, whatever the case may be. They had plenty of man advantages for them to set the tone and for them to score and do what they needed to do. They had it. They did. It was there for them. It was available. They just didn't execute their side of it. So you can complain about refs here and there. No, at the end of the day, I don't look at this game and go, you know what ruined it for me? The referees. What ruined it for me is, as you allude to, you said 3 shots. I saw 4. I saw someone else say 2. 4-3-2, it doesn't matter. What matters is you go from one of your most impressive periods of the season to you totally let them shut you down. Patrice Bergeron says a few things in the locker room, and you're telling me everything he says just completely wipes out what the Flyers did? You established the forecheck. You got in on the Bruins defenseman. That's one thing that really was unreal, and you saw that last year. We pounced all over the Bruins, forcing them to make mistakes, forcing them to make errors, and to make poor decisions with the puck. But they flipped it out of the zone. They flipped it in other spots. That maybe wasn't genius, but I digress. They established the forecheck. They got back to who they were last year for 20 minutes of play. How does that evaporate so simply? And if the Bruins start doing things that does change you and does change what you're doing and they're countering perfectly, then you know what you got to do? You got to readjust as a team. If you realize that, hey, this isn't working. Hey, it's been 10 minutes into the period. I only have 2 shots. Hey, this isn't going as planned. I only have 1 shot. Well, why don't you get simpler? Huh? Well, why don't you just walk into the blue line and fire it? You're going up against a guy that doesn't play in the NHL. You're going up against a kid that doesn't really have a lot of saves under his belt, a lot of experience. That's the number one key goal that you are supposed to do. Whenever there's a goalie change in a game, what does everybody say on the bench? Hey, make sure you get pucks on net. He's not warmed. He's not ready. Well, it's the same thing with the guy who has 0 NHL wins. You don't know if he's going to be ready. You don't know if there's going to be one that just fluffs in. Travis Konechny came down the right wall during, I believe it was the second period. I could be wrong what period it was, but he came down the right side of the wall. He took a shot, it hit off the glove, hit the post, and went into the corner. That type of stuff can happen, and it goes in instead. Come on. It's crazy. The more and more I think about it, it really is nuts.
Well, Brodes, I could see if this was your last Flyers podcast, because I'm done. I'm completely done. I cannot wait for next season because this season has just been putrid. And if that puck battle at the end of the game there doesn't say it all, then I don't know what does. But it's been great. If this is your last one, I'll keep watching the other things, even though I'm not so much of a Philadelphia fan in other sports. But you do a great job.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Honestly, I have no idea what I'm doing with the Flyers. I'm just rocking and rolling and seeing where this thing takes me. I haven't yet. I've done this for 4 years, and there really hasn't been a point of just giving up until when the Phillies are out of the playoffs and the Eagles start and they're not in the race anymore and the games are irrelevant. That's when I kind of dwindle away. And while we all say that this Flyers team is irrelevant because they are, they're still technically not. So, look, it's in my blood. I'm always going to be thinking about this team. As much as we all say we're never going to watch anymore, we're still going to continue to watch. So where will this Flyer season take me in terms of post-game podcast? Right now, I just don't have that information, but all I know is my mouth is blabbering about them right now, and that's all I can do, and we'll see. We'll just see where it goes. If it gets that bad where we're Buffalo Sabres territory, well, then, yeah, I mean, I can't waste my time, but we're not there yet. We're inching our way closer, but we are not there yet. And it's funny, now you're out, but yesterday when you called, it was, hey, I'm going to get sucked back in, and if they do it, if they win on that second game of a back-to-back, which is tonight's game, of course, I'd be sucked right back in, and then they lose, and now all of a sudden you're off. It's just so funny how the one extreme is, but that's how important this 4-game stretch really was, and they came out of here with 1 of 4 points. That's the way I look at it. Don't tell me they got 2 of 4. They didn't. They got 1 of 4 because in that one game where you win in overtime, you allowed the Bruins to get a point too. So you got 1 of 4, not 2 of 4, and it's just flat out not what you were looking for. If you were talking about the battle at the end, was it the one where they were getting the puck out of the zone for the Bruins to actually get the puck out of the zone for the empty net goal? Because I thought they lost some puck battles there as well. I saw Travis Konechny on the ice a few times. Even though he's been playing better as of late, there are some things that still bother me and all, and he looks frustrated. He just looks bothered and annoyed, and I feel like it has kind of changed the version of Travis Konechny that we have seen this season when he went through that drought of not being able to execute, not really being able to produce the way that we saw last season. I think it really got to him, and then it changed who he was, and there were some close-ups of him cross-checking people and screaming words at people and all, and that is a side of Travis Konechny that we are used to, the emotional side, but he just flat out hasn't even been close to the same impact player that we have seen last season, and yeah, it is a big sigh of disappointment.
Brodes, unfortunately, the Flyers couldn't beat the Bruins again. But it was an okay game. We lost 4-2. And this Bruins team is scary. I'll tell you that. We got the Islanders tomorrow night. Hopefully we can, come back and get a win against the Islanders. But we gotta fix some things on this team for sure.
Oh, we definitely have to fix a lot of things. You need to come back with a whole new identity, a whole new culture set, a whole new core. We've been talking about the core for so long. They don't play tomorrow, by the way. That would be 3 straight games if that was the case. But they play on Thursday. They're the only game on Thursday because the Phillies are off. Are the Sixers off too? Oh, yeah, the Sixers are off. They play Friday. I think I messed that up on my post-game pod that I was talking about with the Sixers. But anyway, that's not really important. You said the Flyers played okay, and you're not wrong. I wasn't mad at majority of this game. I wasn't, of course, when I break down a game, there's things I love, things I don't love, so there's going to be things I'm disappointed about and upset about, but all around, were they in there with the Bruins? Yeah. The problem is playing okay and giving good effort at this point for majority of a game, that's not good enough. You are in such a hole, and you are such in a disastrous mode into your season where being okay on the ice, it means nothing. You got to be way better than okay. You got to be studs. You got to be elite. You got to be a force. You got to be dominant. You got to find ways to win hockey games, and they're doing the complete opposite. It's almost like they're finding ways to lose. Scott Lawton has 6,000 chances. You're not scoring. You're finding a way to lose. Travis Konechny missing a wide open net. You're finding ways to lose. You're allowing odd man rushes to happen when you're on the man advantage. You're finding ways to lose. All this is finding ways to lose when you need to be doing the other thing, which is winning the game, finding a way to win. And when you have an okay game and that's what you're satisfied with, not saying you're satisfied with it, I'm just saying in general, this whole work ethic and, hey, they competed, that's irrelevant. That's not a part of the equation anymore. You're so far down in the standings where, yeah, I hope to God you are. You better be. Please, show me some sort of pride. That's an obvious. Compete, that's an obvious. You got to execute now, too. In terms of the Bruins being scary, I don't even think they are scary. I think that's how tough the Flyers are at this point. This Bruins team loses to plenty of other squads. This Bruins team has their major issues. They really do. They are not a perfect team by any means, and I could see them going down early in the playoffs if they made it. They do not have enough scoring other than 3 guys. Their 3 guys are great, but they do not have that. Right now with the goalie situation, as I mentioned before, I don't know how sustainable this is. When are guys coming back? When are they going to return? That's another question to ask. This Bruins team is not even close. The problem is they're not a terrible team. Their ceiling was so high in the past where we're talking about Game 7 Stanley Cup against the St. Louis Blues. They've been at the top of the entire league where now they're not at the top of the league anymore. They're still a better team in this league. They're just not where they once were. So when you go from, let's just say, the second best team in the league that year because they were the runner-up in the Cup final, and now they're the 10th or the 11th best team in the league, you're looking like, oh, they're not the same team they used to be, but they're still up there, if that makes sense. But they are beatable, that's for damn sure. Just not if you're the Flyers, apparently, when you need it most. Before we head out of here, it's everyone's favorite tournament of the year. The Gophers are in Augusta, Georgia to compete for the coveted jacket, and DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is putting you in the center of the action by giving you a shot to land on the green. This week, DraftKings is giving you 100-1 odds on the golfer of your choosing to finish in the top 10. If you haven't tried DraftKings, this is the time. Turning $1 into $100 is simple. Pick any golfer from this weekend's tournament, and if they finish in the top 10, you cash $100. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Brodes when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 if the golfer of your choosing finishes in the top 10 of this weekend's tournament. That's code Brodes to turn $1 into $100 for a limited time, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Pennsylvania only, new customers only. Restrictions apply. In partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you next time.